Hi, Robin here again. I'm here to do another video, and today I'm going to do some of my own art, some hand painting, chrome stuff, and I'm inviting you to join me, have a watch. But I thought I'd just mention one thing. I'm not sure if you can hear, but in the background I have 4 little pugs. And they snore, they snorkel, they moan, and they groan. But worst of all is they fart. Now, who'd have thunk that would be an issue? But if you've ever owned a pug, you know that they fart like humans. They make lots of noise. And I just want to put that out there, just in case you think it's me. Because it's not. I wouldn't do that on camera. But just so you know, I have 4 pugs and they do make a lot of noise. So join me, watch my video. Hopefully you'll learn. Maybe you can post some questions if you have any. And give me a second to mount my camera and we'll be off again. Hang tight. Okay, so these are the designs I'm going to do. And I'd love for you to follow along. I did them both one was done with a blue chrome and the other was done with a pink chrome. And what I'm going to do today in my demo is I'm going to do the blue chrome. So what I'm going to show you now is what you need for the video. This is the blue I used, was the Ugly Duckling number 121. And matte top coat for when I do the hand painting. And then we're going to use the Wildflowers metallic top coat. And we're going to use the Wildflowers puffy gel. And we're going to use some blue foil. And then we're going to use 2 Wildflowers glitters. One is called Faith and the other is called Glim. Faith, we're going to be using the small blue paillettes for the butterfly body. Excuse me. And Glim, we're going to be using some of the smaller to do some accents at the top and the base of the nail. So I'm going to put those off to the other side. Now, what you're going to need is your your magenta Wildflowers brush. And I have my orange Wildflowers brush because I like to use this to do cleanup work. If I say maybe go outline more than I want or my line's fatter, then I'll come in and I'll use this to do cleanup. And then you have your Wildflowers stylist. And then let's not forget the Wildflowers fluffy brush or scrubby brush. I like to think he's angry or maybe has a little bit of bedhead, but he's one I'll clean with alcohol because it doesn't matter what it looks like when it comes out, because we want it to have all of these frayed individual hairs to be able to pick up that fine glitter. And then I'm going to be using the makeup applicators from Wildflowers. There isn't any out there that are better as far as I'm concerned with chrome or any application. We're going to be using the Wildflowers Diamond Blue Chrome and the Wildflowers art paints and just black today. So I did what Lauren told me not to do, and I just banged the leg of my camera stand. So let's take all of our goodies out for now, and we'll bring them in as we need them. Okay, so what we're going to start with is putting on an already painted tip, and I've used one of the Wildflowers nails in a box, probably the largest one, the one that won't get used that often, but I thought it would be a good one to show my work on. So you can see how light the blue is, and then what the diamond chrome does to it. It changes a pastel-y blue into a very electric blue once you apply the chrome. I love the chrome. So to apply chrome though, you have to have on your metallic top coat first. So I just applied 2 coats of the gel polish, and now I'm going to apply my metallic top coat. And I'm not globbing it on, but I'm not stingy either. So I'm going to stop when I finish and make sure that I don't have any streaks from being cheap. See, there's a few bubbles there, so what I'll probably do is just maybe glaze over it again. I don't want any imperfections in the nail before I put the chrome on, because it will show up through the chrome. So my light line is good here, so I'm happy. I'll attach it and slip it into the light. And while I'm doing that, I'll just put my metallic top coat off to the side, get my chrome out and my applicator. I'll take the lid off. I don't like to have these hanging around without the lids on them because I'm klutzy. Just saying. Klutzy is klutzy. Klutzy's best if she knows she's klutzy. So I am putting the cure for 30 seconds in the metallic top coat. I find if that's any less, then the chrome doesn't go on. Now, I'm going to be gentle putting it on because with these, I'm just going to show you underneath. I've just stuck the nail to the nail holder with tack, which is like a picture tack. So when you apply the chrome, you can't really rub it as hard as you can when you have a human hand. Because those human hands, they can take a lot. But these, not so much. Because they want to fall off. And there's nothing worse than having your tip fall off and then having to put your gooey hands onto your work, which you don't want to do. Just making sure it's covering the ends. It's a big nail. Oh, I'm happy with the coverage. So while I put my chrome away here, I'm just going to put that off to the side, put the lid on, wipe my fingers off on my apron because that's what all good nail techs do. Just zap it in the light there for a second more. And then I'm just going to make sure that I got all the spots because it's a pretty big nail. And when you put a nail in on a base like this that's this high, it generally, the human hand and fingernail are not this deep. So our lights tend to not get at the nail tip as well if you're using something like I am. I wanted something metal that would take the tip and that it would also trigger my lamp. So now I'm going to take the Wildflowers metallic top coat and I'm going to coat this nail. Now, why I'm doing that is because if I went to use the matte top coat directly onto this, because it's best to paint on matte, but if I didn't put a metallic top coat layer on and I went to use the matte top coat, Wildflower's matte top coat, the way the chemicals are in the product, I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to go that far and try to look good because I think I'll just look bad, but I just know that if I was to run the matte top coat over this right now, what we'd end up with is a nail tip with no chrome, because the matte top coat will remove all of the chrome. So I am going to just run another thin layer of the Wildflower's metallic top coat on it. And why metallic top coat is because metallic top coat is a bit thinner than the regular top coats. And I'm just going to show you, I have an older bottle and I use this when I'm doing exactly what I did. I am top coating over something that has possibly particles that might get back into my top coat. So rather than pollute my top coat, I will use another top coat that, you know, that I'm keeping off to the side, that won't matter if I get chrome particles or other particles. So here's the top coat. I'll open that up and wait. The white on here is to mark for me what it is. It's just how I use them on my table. And we're just waiting for that 30-second cure. There we go. So now we know that it's sealed, the chrome, so we can come in with our matte top coat. And prep the tip. And again, I'm not putting gobs on, but I want to put enough on that I'm not seeing streaks in the nail. I want a smooth nail for painting. And I'm checking my line of light. I've got no bumps or lumps. And then I'll put that in for a 30-second cure. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing my detail painting, and I'm going to use my magenta brush. And I'm going to be using my black paint. And while I'm waiting for that cure, I'm just going to take a little black paint. Ooh, that's a lot of black paint. I'm going to put it on my tile and put the lid on my paint. Here's my tip again. So I am going to bring in the camera and have you come in really close. Doesn't all look so matty, does it? I'm going to just quickly stick that in at a lower level. It doesn't look like it had cured properly, so let's just make sure. Because even sitting on one of those little stands is higher than the human hand would typically be. So you just want to make sure that you get a good cure with your matte, because if you don't, the matte uncured portion will interfere with your painting. The black art paint is very highly pigmented and doesn't move when you put it down and loads in the brush beautifully. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, it's a bit better. See, there's nothing shiny or wet looking on that nail now. So let's put it there. I'll put it there. Okay. So I'm going to paint now my 3 wings. And what inspired me for these wings were looking at leaves or petals on a flower. Nothing fancy. I'm sure others do butterflies different ways, but I'm going to have 3 wings, and I'm just going to sort of mark it where I want the wings to sort of start and kind of end here. All right, so I've sort of just given myself a little map. Now, I'm gonna swirl just to make sure that my brush is loaded good. Anchor my finger. It's going to allow me to not shake. And bring the brush around and end at my one dot. And again, the other. You kind of want them at an angle because the body of the butterfly kind of goes here. It actually goes kind of like this. So you don't really want, you want your wings to look like they're on the back of the butterfly. The center wing is a bit shorter, smaller, and it's generally part of the upper wing. So you see how we brought them in together there? And the last wing, I'm going to bring out and in, and out and in. So you see I've got all three of my wings there. I can't see my palette anymore, so I'm going to swing that in. Because I keep going and unloading my brush. Now, I'm just going to do a quick 10-second cure on that. Because I want to sort of freeze in the wings in case I bump them, go out of the lines, or anything. You just never know what happens. I'm going to, again, confess that I'm a clumsy person, so I often bump my own work. Don't have anybody else to blame but myself. You can ask my clients. So from the bottom wing, I want the fatter part from the bottom. Whenever you start with your brush that's loaded and you place it down, you can see here there's a more concentrated, sorry about that, a more concentrated amount of paint. And as you bring down the brush, the line lightens or thins because you are using the paint in the barrel of the brush. So in this particular case, I want the bottom, I want it to be like it is, you know, on the show Avatar, but a piece, I want it thicker down here, and then I want to lift up, and I want to have my line meet the base of that wing. But I want to make sure that it looks like it's part of it. And on the top piece, it's going to be a little different because up there, I don't want a bigger piece on the bottom. I just want a little piece going up the top. Kind of whimsical. It's kind of going to go away. So you see how it... Now before I freeze frame this, I'm going to show you how I use my cleanup brush, my broom as I've called it through my clients, but I'm going to put the antennas on first. And you saw that I loaded the brush. The brush is loaded. I'm going to bring the first one in and I'm going to place down my brush heavily to start and then lift and pull. And you can see by doing it that way that the upper portion of the line is thicker and goes down to a thinner point. I'm going to load my brush again, and I'm going to do the same. I am going to push down so I get more paint, and then I'm going to lift and pull. So you can see how the antennas sort of come down there to where the head is going to be. Now I'm just going to put my brush here, and I'm going to bring in a cleanup crew, and I'm going to show. So we talked about this, the orange brush. Now it has its purpose. it does its art. It's a beautiful brush. But for me, it's a nice square. And if you look, you can see how thin it is. You see that? And it's got a nice square, even angled, well, no angled, sorry, square edge to it. So you can actually take your cleanup brush, press down, and run it along the line there if you wanted. You see, I've just marked it there. I don't want to put any more black on it because I'm just cleaning up a little bit here. I'm going to try it this way. That's better. See, now maybe it was just me that could see it, but for me, I could see that the line wasn't straight. So now I'm happy with that line. So I'm going to cure. Let's do it on here first. It's just a 10-second cure. Whoop, too far. Now, I'm not sure if you're all aware, this is just the metallic top coat. Any top coat will do, but just so you know, the best way to clean a gel brush is with gel. And then you just brush it out. Now, not only have I now got a clean brush where you can see that I'm not painting any color on my hand, right? It's totally clean. But not only is it clean, but all of the bristles are in a form. There's no fraying, there's no splayed hairs or anything like that. So what that does, I always anchor when I do this as well, is it allows me to put my brush back in without damaging the hairs. And they last so much longer that way. And I never put away a dirty brush. My brushes are always clean before they go in, and they're always clean when they come out. So now what I want to do is I want to infill on the, let's bring you back in again a bit here. I want to infill the wings a bit. So I'm just going to load my brush again. Now, why I'm doing this is because inside of a butterfly's wing is always round. So you want to make sure that you are somewhat true to form. I don't have enough paint on my brush. And the angle puts a glare for me, so I apologize. I'm staying inside the lines here. And had I put enough paint on my palette, I probably wouldn't be struggling this much. So again, I just want to make sure that my end is round. Let's just make the round here. Now you see, I've not got it perfect in there, but that's okay. Do you see how I'm doing that? Because what I'm going to do with the butterfly wings is I'm going to place a little paillette in the center there so that it just mirrors the body of the butterfly. Because the body is going to have, you see, I think I'm going to need my sweeper brush. maybe. Let's just open up my paint a little bit here. Again, I've let my brush dry out too much, which you don't really want to happen. Okay, so I'm going to cure that for the full 30 seconds, because what I'm going to do next is I am going to look for a wipe. I'm going to wipe the black paint out of my brush, and I'm going to scoop up some clear. I don't know if you can see. Maybe I'll just sort of pull back for a little bit here, just show you. You can see how the black is coming out. So I could take this. Okay, so I am done with my cure. Somebody came into the shop there, so I had to pause. I apologize. Put my paint off to the side. As you see, I've now got a very clean brush, and all the hairs are and off it goes. Okay, so now I'm going to do a little bit of foil work, and I'm going to hold it funny just because the heavens to Murgatroyd, the putty that holds the nail on doesn't hold it on that well. But I don't want that up there like that, so I'm going to just clean that up. And as you can see, I've got the blue foil now on the butterfly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to get my clear puffy gel out, and then I am going to open up my paillettes, just add a few there, and put them on my palette. Get my stylist, and then I am going to get a little bit of puffy gel on my stylist, and then I am going to put some where I want the body to be. Now I'm only doing the puffy gel now at this point is because I want to set this before I top coat it. And once I get the paillettes on there, I don't want them to move. And I'm also going to put a paillette in the center of each of the wings. Try to center it. I'm just going to put a little bit more back here, just so that I have enough on there. Okay. Just going to wipe the excess off. I'm going to close up my puffy gel, clear puffy gel, and I've got still some clean top coat there. So handily, I'm just going to grab the very small. First, I'm actually going to grab one of the bigger ones, but sometimes you get a little bit more than you're looking for. So that's going to be the head. And it doesn't matter that I've got a little bit of the puffy gel or the top coat on top of the paillette, because I am going to top coat this when I'm finished. So then I'm going to get down the next size of blue. Might even be the same size, but they're so small. Oh, they are the same size. The next ones will not be. I want the small ones the next time, because I am going to then make the body smaller as I go down. Okay, so I am going to try and show butterfly body kind of angling against the wing, but I definitely want the head and the bigger piece situated, where the wings meet as well as where the antennas end. I want to make sure that they're laying down flat because I don't want anything sticking up. So then I'm going to take a couple of more of the smaller ones. Looks like I have emptied it. And I'm going to place one there. I don't want a gold one, I just want a blue one. Put one there. And let's look, let's see. Maybe those are big enough spaces that we can fit two in there. And we wouldn't want two on the bottom and not have two on the top. Oh, there's one. Okay, so I have placed my paillettes where I want them. And I'm going to, actually I'm going to use my hand because I want a good cure on this. I'm just going to zip it in the light. Oh, for heaven's sakes, make that light go. Because I want to make sure that I put the lid on my paillettes, or dots, as we also call them. And then I want to open up the lid here. Just put a few of the other. I don't want too many. And this is where I'm going to be using my scrubby brush. Again, his hair is very angry, which is what we want it to be. And what I could do is just use my worker brush, get into the clean top coat. I only want a little bit. And I want a little bit down here. And I want a little bit up here. Maybe a little bit more. Why so cheap? Okay, a little bit down here. Okay, so then I'm going to take my scrubby and I'm going to tap it in on the small stuff. If I get colors on that I don't want, then I will take them off. I don't want the white. I'll be okay with the green, the blue, and the black, but I really don't want the white. So we have white. So let's just take that white guy off there. And that one. And I think I might have gotten them all. I might need to get this a little wetter. I've got a bigger piece there, which I don't really want bigger pieces in there because I don't want them competing with the paillettes that are in the butterfly. So I'm just going to stick to the smaller ones. That'll do it. And not too many because I don't want to take away from the design. Oh, look, there's a white one. Okay. We might lose some getting the white guy off of there. Let's slip that back up there. No, that's the big one we don't want on there. Okay, so I'm just going to try to use my brush. It's not as good, not my brush, my stylus, as the scrubby brush. We kind of want them to look random. Look at that, I found another white one. Okay, let's put that there. And let's cure it. And while that's curing for a 30-second cure, I'm going to put the lid back on here. Now, if I was working with a human being, of course, I wouldn't be putting the lid back on with the contaminated paillettes in there. I would be throwing them away because you don't want to have them touch multiple hands. We want to keep our stuff disinfected. So with the scrubby, I just pulled it apart and it's clean again and still just as scattery as ever. And I've got gel in it. That's okay, because next time I go to use it, it'll pick it up nice and easy. This here, just going to make sure it's clean. There's no color coming off. So I'm going to flat. Put my brush back on. That's awesome. I can put that over there. Now, I believe I am ready for top coat. So I'm going to use my Wildflowers top coat. You want a hefty, not stupid amount, because of course it'll just run off. But we do have some different layers there. So what you can do is put lots on and then flip your client's hand over and have the top coat sort of pull, like the gravity take it and pull it to the bottom or to the top of the nail. Flip it and then cure. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check that, and I'm going to look really close to my paillettes to make sure that the paillettes got completely covered with top coat. Sometimes they don't, so it's always good to check to make sure that your paillettes completely cover. So let's have a look and see if we can, oh my gosh, where is it? There it is. They look like it, don't they? Line of Light is a little bumpily. So if you take it, you see the line of light with the paillettes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a second coat. Doesn't hurt to run a second coat. The nail is still really thin. You haven't added any bulk. I can still see some paillettes sticking up here. So I'm just going to load it heavy there. Because what I did is I looked on the sides and I could see it. I'm going to flip it upside down again. and then I'm going to put it in for its final cure. And I have all faith that the paillettes are completely covered now. So that, my friends, is my art for today. I'm going to show you, of course, the final nail, and we'll pull out the original one, which I did earlier, and we'll see how they look. And you know, when you're painting on a client and you're doing art on one hand and then art on another, because, you know, generally they want feature nails, right? They don't have to be perfect. Each one will stand alone as a piece of art. But I will say, had this been one client's hand and this is one nail and this is another on another hand, I would have been sure to use the same amount of paillettes in the wings each time. And this, the wings were a little different shape, so I added more. And this, the wings, I added bigger paillettes. So there you go. A very, very bright and happy nail. So you do your nails blue, you have your feature nail, throw in a white nail or a silver nail, and you've got yourself a pretty smart looking set of nails. Thanks, guys. We'll see you again soon. Robin signing out.